Go for it.
Okay, so personally, in my own religion and life, the connection that I could have made to the book is that the men are held as household powers, like they're the main one in charge. You should follow them only, and that women are expected to only take care of children and keep the food ready and everything. And that to go against God would be foolish. It was sort of, domestic misogynist type of thing. Like men are more powerful, women are just supposed to be at home taking care of children. So that's what connects the culture in there and the culture that is right now.
There's also connections like with the religion. Like you can see that now people do things like they don't do commit sins as they want to gain favor with God, go to heaven, and here you see Antigone, she wants to bury her brother for him to come to the afterworld with me. Like she gets what's the opposite of sins? Merits by the gods. And and then it's also easy to understand that if you do bad things, like in many religions today, when you do bad things, like let's say Islam and Christianity, you go to hell. Hinduism, you get I think if you reincarnated into something bad, and same shit, like you be punished doing something bad. Like Creon is punished. He's kind of punished. We can see by we think the gods as Tiresias promises. We see his family died. He has no home.
Going to like governmental rule, kind of, this whole play is based on like which kind of rule is better, democracy or capitalism. And I know, like personally, in my whole like family life, we've had problems with that in Romania, where like we've been better communism or capitalism during the Cold War, and so it was a very strong issue that was easy kind of to connect to, and between the book and me and personal life and experiences in the whole world, where Antigone and Creon are kind of trying to find which one's the right way to rule. A while back, 20-some years ago, it was.
I'm going to briefly clarify something here. Capitalism is not necessarily a government, it's an economic system. Whereas I think it means the difference between democracy and either monarchy or dictatorship.
Yeah. So Creon was kind of on the other, kind of a dictator. I don't remember the other.
Yeah, it is.
And to add on, like the connection between governments is that although Creon and if we're talking about Dubai in our society today, the rulers are very similar yet very different. They're similar in the way that they hold power and ultimately they decide last. Right? They have the final word for everything, and they're not like democratically elected. But they're very different in the sense that the rulers of Dubai have a greater respect for the people's voice because they significantly influence like the society in Dubai. And so since the ruler has more respect for citizens, he's more likely to take the request into consideration. Whereas Creon was kind of the opposite. He had all the power, and he believed that like he shouldn't really care so much or listen to like the common citizen. So.
For me, Creole and my own culture in like West Africa and Africa as a whole, I think this abuse of power was really like clear for me in this book, and I really connected it to like hundreds presidents and other people in power that I see right like in this age of day, and then like also before. So that was really interesting to me to try and see it through the eyes of the actual ruler to like see what they're thinking of and all. And then there's also the separation of religion and politics was really evident for me, and I think it's an issue that we still struggle with and that we're still battling for, and there's big extremes to what should happen with that.
I'm just going to go around.
Okay, added to what Rami said about the rulers in Dubai having, having to give the consideration for the common people's voice. I agree with that, but also I kind of think they're more similar to like how it was back then, because today, like, even if they do decide something that goes against the law or whatever, they can still like carry it out without having any consequences, because at the end of the day, like, they do have absolute power.
I also took it in a more governmental view, like a meta view. So what I took it as in the overspending or like the overthought of security of the state. So you see that a lot now as well. So Creon is almost, it just purely thinks about the security of the state and making all these decisions rather than pleasing the people or listening to people. And in a lot of countries now, there are vast amounts of money, like in a lot of countries, the majority of their governmental money is spent in security of the state. In this time, more like weapons and military and such, rather than giving it back to the people in like welfare services. And the countries which are the happiest are the ones which spend heavily on their welfare services, like Sweden. So it's true.
Okay, I have like two things. One, I think that Creon being in power and him like throughout the play getting more, I guess, paranoid that like someone is trying to go against him, like from three states as prophecy. He doesn't take it like, oh, he's just stating his prophecy, he's saying, oh, he's going against me. And I think it's hard for people in power to admit they're wrong, and I think that's still in like today's culture, even just like looking at like your parents, like when you're like arguing with your parents, it's like, no, like you're wrong because I'm older and like I'm your mom. So I think that like that can be seen in the text with Creon, how it's like very hard for him to realize that he has made a mistake. And also another thing was how Creon sees like money as the root of all evil and like greed. And I think like in today's culture, money can lead for people to do a lot of things that they wouldn't normally do if money was not on the table. So
something that I found interesting was like, the whole idea of incorporating the gods into the play itself. Like, the fact that that's just not limited to Greece, and the fact that we have that in India as well, where like, because Hindus are also pantheists, where we believe in millions and millions of gods. And the gods are incorporated into our literary texts. So like the fact that these two like ancient cultures were like separated, yet still like had the same idea of like pantheism of millions of gods, and the fact that, like both of them, like even in Hinduism, the gods are flawed and they don't have control over fate, I think. And it's the same with Greek culture, and like they have no connection, yet still they're so similar in so many ways.
Yeah, I found a connection between how Antigone goes against Creon and how people of my age from where I'm from in Italy are really critical towards governments, so they don't trust politicians, and I found a connection between these two conflicts. But the difference is that Antigone actually did something, and she showed her that she didn't respect Creon, while in Italy we still aren't doing anything. That concerns me.
Okay, thoughts? Oh.
I think I agree a lot with everyone here, basically. I think it's really interesting how, although all our cultures are presumably very different, because we come from everywhere in the world, we were still able to all relate to this one text that was from a culture that was from like a long time ago. And then also to go back on Elizabeth's point, I really agree with you when you were talking about how youth our days were becoming, we were all like very critical of our rulers, of what should happen in the world and all. And I kind of disagree on the point where you're going when you say, maybe you were talking about specifically Italy. Yeah, but, okay, well then I think as a worldwide aspect, I think that we're still doing a lot comparing to, times where our parents or our grandparents were teenagers.
I wanted to add to action against the government. I think these days it's more in groups, a whole bunch of people going against the government together. While here it's just one person, Antigone, going against the government. And you can also see it in this day. doesn't agree with Creon like fully, but she doesn't take action against it, she just lets it happen. While like these days, like, if you don't agree with it, you can kind of like join a group or something, like, you know, it's a lot more connected nowadays than that kind of group.
Cool. Yeah, great job. Moving into the last question, take a minute. Add anything to your notes that you need that'll help you later in your reflection.